Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for the virtual Brebeuf Showcase event. I'm Colleen Cannon, the Director of Admissions at Brebeuf Jesuit, and I'm also a class of 2025 parent. So tonight is an exciting night for us because it's all about celebrating your accomplishments, class of 2025. You have a lot to be proud of, and we are certainly proud of you. To begin, I'd like to first introduce Brebeuf Jesuit President, Father Bill Verbreyck. Father Bill.
Thank you, Colleen. Again, I also welcome members of the class of 2025. The last few weeks have been exciting for us as we've delivered to the homes balloons and acceptances and the reactions that we've received. I hope you have felt that excitement as much as we have. Tonight, it's really for you to find out more about Brebeuf. And some of you we know have already made your decisions. And hopefully tonight will just solidify that you made the right decision for yourself. Those of you are still considering us, so we hope tonight will give you a little bit more information and an experience that will convince you that Brebeuf Jesuit is the community for you. What we do oftentimes when we gather, though, we begin with a prayer. So I would like to begin with St. Ignatius's prayer for generosity. St. Ignatius is the founder of the Jesuits, and it's a prayer that we pray often here at Brebeuf. But I thought for tonight, as a class of 2025 gathers, that it might be good for us to pray this. So let us pray. Lord, teach us to be generous. Teach us to serve you as you deserve, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heed the wounds, to toil and not to seek for rest, to labor and not to ask for any reward, save that of knowing we do your will. Amen. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you our principal, Mr. Greg VanSlambrook.
Good evening, everyone. I'm in my 9th year as principal at Brebeuf Jesuit, my 17th year overall at the school. And if we haven't met yet, it's really nice to be here with you tonight to meet you across the Zoom and to celebrate you. As Ms. Cannon and Father Bill have both said, tonight is a celebration of the incoming class of 2025. So first, my sincere congratulations on your accomplishment of admission to Brebeuf Jesuit. It's very exciting, and I hope you feel great about that, because you should. And listening tonight, whether you're a student or a parent, if you're listening on your own or watching together, we're really glad for you to join us, and we thank you. And we hope that tonight's time together is able to share our excitement about Brebeuf and about you across this Zoom. And for those making your decision still, as Father Bill said, that it provides you a little more information to help with that. So thinking about you and this group, you obviously can't see each other right now on this Zoom call, but if we were in a physical room all together and you had a chance to look around at the admitted class of 2025, you'd be impressed. You'd see students from several dozen different middle schools, see students who are a diverse group in terms of race and religious background, see students from a lot of different parts of the city, even some from out of town. You'd see all students like yourself who've proven yourselves, who have impressed our admissions committee as we've read your applications. I know you haven't gotten to read these, but you'll have to trust me. You want to be a part of a group like this, like those who are on this call, the potential class of 2025. You're a talented and motivated group. The development of your strengths and who you are as a person will be enhanced by the group of you together, by those around you. That's really exciting. So think from where you are now, fast forward to 4 years from now, imagining yourself as a senior. You're about to meet some seniors. Imagine yourself as a senior, about to make your decision for your next steps after high school. And think about, where might your Brebeuf Jesuit education have brought you by that point? One thing I think is important to remember is that a Jesuit education is meant to bring out a deeper understanding of who you are and who you are called to be. We don't try to fit you into a predetermined box. We don't try to force you to become someone you're not. But if you come to Brebeuf, I always say, be ready for it to shape who you are for life in a deep way. At Brebeuf, you can already see it in our seniors. You'll see in them self-awareness, a habit of reflection, a sense of personal integrity and values, a feeling of responsibility to serve others. Our graduates carry these traits with them. They tell us over the years it makes a huge impact in their lives. And at Brebeuf Jesuit, we feel that our success as a school happens when you become the kind of people whom our world needs. That's what we mean when we say that we want you to become men and women for others. So think of yourself in those shoes 4 years from now. That's where we want you to be. It's also natural, as you think about this, to think about the concrete returns on your investment that you might expect to see in 4 years of a Brebeuf Jesuit education. So I brought some numbers to try to put on that as examples. At Brebeuf Jesuit, you get personalized care from dedicated faculty and staff with great ratios of faculty and staff to students. Our average class size is a little under 18. Our student-teacher ratio is a little under 12 to 1. On average, a Brebeuf teacher has 80, 85 students in a given semester. All those numbers are typically double at a lot of schools. And we also have 4 full-time academic counselors, 5 full-time college counselors, and a full-time school social worker. Because of those ratios and our academic schedule, every student has the time during each day to meet with their teachers and to work together during the school day. Every teacher has multiple office hours available every day where they're available to students. So these numbers really matter because they set up a structure for what is our goal, which is as students, you will be known here. You'll be known by caring, awesome professionals, and by each other, by your peers and your classmates. I'll also share some numbers to illustrate what you probably already know about our outstanding academic environment that illustrate that. Year after year, over 75% of our graduating class receives the Indiana Academic Honors Diploma. Year after year, over 75% of our graduating class qualifies for some college credit, often a lot, via your success in the AP exams and dual credit courses. Brebeuf Jesuit, if you don't know, has the highest rate of students passing I-STEP tests of any high school in the state. And our SAT scores are among the highest averages in the state as well. So those are just some numbers that illustrate that this is the kind of academic environment. Our teachers are the kind of teachers, our students are the kind of students that academically lift everyone up to greater and greater things. 4 years from now, you'll of course also be thinking about where you're going next, where you're going for college. And you should know that at Brebeuf Jesuit, you'll be set up for awesome college outcomes. Our college counseling program is now becoming the first and only high school in Indiana administering a new program which begins in your sophomore year called the I Start Strong Career and Interest Assessment. And each of our college counselors, each student is assigned to a college counselor and an academic counselor. And each of our college counselors has been trained and certified in this I Start Strong program, which we believe is the best in the field at helping students and families to really learn more about the why behind your college and career choice, to begin really thinking of that in a dedicated and structured way starting your sophomore year that really leads to great college choices and outcomes after senior year. Last year, some numbers, our graduating class was accepted to 191 different colleges and universities, which is a significant range of a diversity of schools for a school graduating class of our size. College admissions officers, when we talk to them, consistently tell us that when they see a Brebeuf application, that tells them something tangible and meaningful about a student. It's a tangible advantage. And then we see that in our admission rates with a few examples. Last year, 30% of Brebeuf students who applied to the University of Notre Dame were admitted, compared to their typical admit rate of 19%. 50% of students, of Brebeuf students who applied to Georgetown were admitted, compared to 16% nationally. 17% of Brebeuf students who applied to Princeton last year were admitted, compared to their overall rate of 6%. And this year so far, our current senior class of 2021, represented by some of the students you see in front of you, that class of almost 200 students has received early admission offers from an awesome list that includes, among others, Boston College, Case Western, Dartmouth, Duke, Georgetown, Northwestern, Pepperdine, Princeton, Spelman, University College in Dublin, University of Michigan, North Carolina, Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, VMI, and Wellesley College. So just a few examples. And at Brebeuf Jesuit, these college outcomes also come often with substantial scholarship offers, because you get a lot of personalized support and guidance, your family does, through our college counseling department on how to access those. We keep an annual number of total merit aid for each class for college. It's typically in the range of $20 to $30 million in merit scholarship awards for a graduating class each year in total. That's a great number, but it's a bit hard to wrap your brain around what that means for an individual student. So here's another way to think about it. For the class of 2020, 61% were offered at least one merit scholarship, and the average award was $169,000 over 4 years in college merit scholarships. So in summary, why should you come to Brebeuf? The answers are as deep and intangible as the person whom you'll become, and as clear and tangible as the numbers I just shared with you. So students, I want you to think about where you'd like to be in 4 years. Parents, think about where you'd like your children to be in 4 years. If what you've heard tonight sounds appealing to you, and I certainly hope it does, we really look forward to welcoming you to the class of 2025. Again, congratulations. We're so grateful that you are here. And for the next part of tonight's presentation, I'd like to introduce our Director of Equity and Inclusion at Brebeuf, Ms. Kayla Storrs. Ms. Storrs is a part of our school leadership team. She works with faculty, staff, students, and families to build up our community and to help ensure that we have an equitable and inclusive school environment for all of our students. She'll present our student panel of seniors tonight who will be answering your questions and sharing their experiences. Ms. Storrs.
Good evening, friends. We are so excited that you are joining us tonight for this showcase. And now's the fun part. Not that Mr. VanSlam is not super fun, but you are here to hang out with some seniors, right? We want to get some firsthand insight into what could my experience potentially be here if I choose Brebeuf Jesuit as my high school. So I'm simply here to be a moderator, a kind voice, and hopefully a pretty face throughout the rest of the evening for you all to send some more questions in and whatnot. But we have some really awesome seniors hanging out with us this evening. And so we would like to give them the opportunity to first introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about who they are, and then you all gave us some questions beforehand. So we've got some questions for them. And this is, again, just an opportunity for you to get some firsthand insight from the folks who have navigated Brebeuf Jesuit as students and who are getting ready to transition into what takes place after they actually graduate here. So for my seniors, for my panelists that are hanging out with me this evening, we're going to kind of like popcorn style. So if there's anyone who would like to start, feel free to chime in. And as we dive into the actual questions, when I read the question or when I pose the question, if there's someone who this question resonates with you specifically, feel free to chime in. We don't have to have every single senior answer every single question. So don't feel obligated to kind of, oh, I need to get this one. But if there are ones that you feel really passionate about that you want to share, we want to hear from you. Okay. So that said, I'm going to hand it over to our seniors to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about them. Anyone want to go first? Who volunteers as tribute? What? Do I see Maddie Leblanc with their hand up? No, I don't, but I'm going to. Maddie, will you kick us off, my dear?
Yes, I will. Thank you. I am Maddie LeBlanc. I'm a senior, of course. I'm a part of the SALT team, which is a student athlete leadership team, which kind of coordinates like EKS games and just spirit for the games. I play girls lacrosse, and for the future, I hope to major in business and minor in mathematics.
All right.
I'll go next.
I see you, Harmony. Look at you. There we go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Harmony. Of course, I'm a senior. At Brebeuf, I am a member of the dance team. I am the captain, of course. I am also the president of Brebeuf's Black Student Union. As far as my interests, of course, I love to dance. I love going to church. And for college, I am looking to major in biology and minor in psychology on the pre-medical track in order to become an obstetrician gynecologist.
And not only is Harmony captain of the dance team, I believe we have like a ranked, recognized, we might just have the best dance team. No big deal, right? Who's gonna follow Miss Harmony? Oh my gosh, Sean, look at Sean, there we go.
Hi, yeah, my name is Sean, a senior, of course. I play tennis. I'm also involved in student council and leading our school's investment club. In the future, I hope to go somewhere in the social sciences, so kind of economics, political science, or psychology.
Thanks, Sean. Okay, we're down to our final two. Eeny, meeny, miny. Chris, let's do it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Strawn. I wrestled and I play Ultimate Frisbee, and I'm also involved in the school investment club. And in the future, I'm hoping to go into business at either Georgetown or Villanova.
All right, Emily, take us home, my dear. Thank you, Chris.
Okay, hi, I'm Emily. I am involved with theater at Brebeuf, and I run cross country sort of in this fall until the play starts, the fall play. And then I'm also president of Conservation Club. And in the future, I'm hoping to study engineering and maybe math as well.
Wow. Okay. So we have, as you all can tell, a really dynamic and diverse group of seniors here with you in terms of their involvement and their backgrounds and things that they want to do after they graduate. So we've got some good insight here. Colleen, what's our next? There we go. Okay. So for my seniors, talk to us about that adjustment from middle school. What did that transitionary kind of period look like? How did you experience the adjustment from middle school to high school?
For me personally, my adjustment from middle school to high school, it was a little rocky. I won't lie. Coming from Heritage Christian, that's where I came from. Then going into Brebeuf, I definitely had to learn how to manage my time, and it was very helpful for me to have upperclassmen friends. They are very helpful, so I definitely recommend making friends with some upperclassmen. I promise they'll help you. They're not scary at all. They're actually like really sweet. So definitely, just making those connections. I think that was what made my transition so much easier and smoother.
Anyone else want to chime in on that one for our audience at home? So as our seniors share with us, if you'll see me in the chat box, just kind of summarizing some of the points that are made. That way, if you're not taking notes or if you want to kind of refer back to something that a senior has said, you can just hop into the chat box and see some of the comments that I've made. Also, feel free to add to the chat box if you have any follow-up questions or specifics. Okay. Awesome. So for the rest of my seniors, anyone else want to contribute to what that adjustment was from middle school? I see you, Sean. Go ahead, dear.
Yeah, so I think one of the good things about Brebeuf is that it starts in 9th grade. So everyone's new when you come in, and you'll have some kids that you know, but at the same time, you're going to have to, make friends with the rest of the class, and that's good because everyone's in the same boat as you. Personally, I came in with, I think, 7 classmates from middle school, and of course, in a class of 196 or something. Obviously, you make new friends and you kind of adjust, and it's a process, and obviously it's a little bit more difficult during COVID, but I think it's great that Brebeuf provides many opportunities for freshmen to get adjusted into high school.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. Okay. Going once, going twice. We good? Okay, let's see what our next question is. From high school, what was your first week at Brebeuf like as a freshman? If you can think back to that first week when you got onto campus for the first time and it was actually real that you were in high school now, but you were no longer like the big man on campus or the big woman on campus from 8th grade. Now you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a freshman. How was it? Did you feel comfortable right away? Was there anything that helped you feel more comfortable? Talk to us a little bit about that first week as a freshman.
I'd say,
Oh,
sorry.
Oh, you can go ahead, Chris. It's okay.
Thank you. I'd say for me, the first week at Brebeuf was, it just felt a lot more free, but also in the sense that I had to be a lot more responsible with who I was, how I did things, how I carried myself. So I didn't feel comfortable right away, but I think it was a good adjustment to make in the sense that Brebeuf makes you become responsible pretty early on, which I think is a great thing.
Well, my first week as a freshman, I had so much fun. Usually, the day before everyone, like all the students come together, you usually have like freshman orientation. So that was one of my favorite days because I got a chance to meet a whole new group of people. I got to actually see who were in my classes, got to make friends with them. And so just from that day on out, I had so much fun. the first week, it was a lot of fun. It was a little hard, like getting adjusted to the schedule and, you know, learning how to manage my time. But I felt comfortable. I felt so comfortable. I felt at home.
Yeah, I would say for me, I would highly recommend taking either summer gym or summer digital citizenship class or something, because that's a good way to make friends before you actually get to real school, as well as doing like maybe a summer sport or something. I did cross country, so I already kind of had met people that I knew, and so I didn't feel like I was alone or anything, and that was really nice. And then also I will say, like, the first week, the building is kind of confusing, so it's kind of like I would get lost, but everyone was super nice. So like if I would, or like the schedule can be a little confusing too. So like be like, oh, what class period is it? What room number? Like, where is this? And there's always someone right there who is ready to help, which I think is unique. Like I never felt like I was alone.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So any other contributors for what that first week of freshman year was like? Cool beans. I'm ready, Colleen. So when we think about academics, right, and I actually just saw this in the chat, do you ever feel overwhelmed with homework? So for those that are asking questions in the chat, so know that not disregarding, I see them, I'll kind of feed them into the conversation as they come about, and then anything that we miss in terms of questions from the chat, myself and or Colleen will take a note of those, and we can follow up with you afterward to make sure you get answers to those questions. So that said, what was your favorite class your freshman year? When you think about it, like, man, what did you just really, whose class did you really enjoy being? And tell us a little bit about why. And then of course, the homework question. What can our incoming freshmen expect in terms of homework and workload?
I'll go. My favorite class as a freshman, even though I'm pretty big on like the math side, my favorite class was English with Mrs. DeMoss. She was always she was so helpful, and the teachers, that was her first year there as well. And they want to help you. They want to be there for you. They want to watch you succeed. So having someone that was kind of like on the same level, both kind of freshmen to the school, was very nice to have, and to have someone to like connect to and know that she'll always be there. And for the homework part of it, Brebeuf is a rigorous academic school, and it has shaped me to be someone that is okay with more homework. So at the beginning, it might seem like a little bit more homework than middle school, but there are always times where like you feel good about what you're doing with the homework. Like, you know that it might be a lot, but you'll know that it will bring you to a higher place in your future. So I don't think there's too much, but it's hard work to do, and it will lead you to a better future.
Thanks, Maddie. Let's see. Oh, I see you, Harmony. Go ahead.
Okay. Maddie, I think like my favorite class freshman year would probably have to be English 9. Mrs. O'Keefe made English like really fun. It was really interactive. So yeah, I think English was my favorite class freshman year. And as far as like the workload with homework at Brebeuf, just know that you're gonna be prepared for college as far as homework goes. Brebeuf make sure that you're prepared for life after Brebeuf. It's not gonna be easy all the time. I will not say that it's easy. Like Maddie said, it's very rigorous. But just know they're only preparing you for college, and if you're deciding on going to grad school or something of the sort, it'll be hard, but it'll be very beneficial in the long run.
And going off of that, I will say, like, teachers tend to be very supportive of you as well. So if they're going to give you a lot of homework, they're also going to be available for you to seek out help if you need it, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, just to add to that, I'd say there's easy weeks and there's hard weeks, but if you ever feel like you're getting overwhelmed, the teachers are really understanding about that, and all you have to do is talk to them.
So for my prospective freshmen, I think it's really important to note here, right, that you've got seniors that are kind of giving you a heads up. Hey, you're going to get some homework, and there's going to be some rigorous curriculum, right? And no one prompted these students. There's no, hey, don't tell them that it's not going to be difficult. Don't tell them that there's going to be homework. This is the heads up that you all get so that you kind of understand that this is an institution that is meant to prepare you for college. And so coming in with the mindset of this curriculum may challenge me a little bit, but it's going to challenge me in order to put me in a position that's really going to set me up for success for whatever plans I have after high school, right? So make sure you kind of have that mental standard and expectation of knowing that it is going to be some work, but it's all for your benefit. And it is an awesome support system that you've got here that's going to make sure that you've got your questions answered. And that when it comes to a point where you're not quite sure what you're supposed to be doing, or you're struggling a little bit, you've got teachers as well as counselors and support staff that's going to make sure that you have all the resources necessary to be successful. Oh my goodness. Look at our seniors just sharing gems, dropping gems. So social life, right? I always think back to, so I come from a college background, and in college, if you've seen the triangle, and it's like social life, academics, and sleep. And it's like, okay, you got to choose two of the three. Which one are you choosing? And social life is really important. I'm not saying that triangle applies here at Brebeuf, because we do a really great job of balance. But of that triangle, folks want to know about social life. So for my seniors, tell us a little bit about what that social life looked like your freshman year. How easy was it to make friends? Are you still friends with some of the folks that you met in your freshman year, and how have those friendships or those relationships grown and evolved? What advice would you give to our prospective freshmen for meeting new people?
I'm sure everyone can attest to this. I'm a very social person at school. Well, as of right now, I'm at home because, of Corona. But when I'm on campus, you can definitely tell that I am the life of the party. I definitely think that my social life definitely increased when I got to Brebeuf. And I want to say that is because I was not afraid to put myself out there. Usually in middle school, I was like really reserved. I cared about what everyone thought about me. And I was like, just kind of sitting in the back, I just didn't, want to be in the mix of things. But at Brebeuf, I was like, you know what? I'm going to actually try to make friends, and I'm going to, be a really nice person, just try to make friends, make connections. And so that's what I did. Like the first day I got on campus, even with my summer classes, I just put myself there. I just put it all on the table, and I was like, this is who I am, and I just let Brebeuf know that I was there. So yeah, definitely don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I think that'll be the easiest way to make friends. And then advice about meeting new people. Well, putting yourself out there. And then I think someone mentioned being like in summer school, and then some sports and clubs. That's definitely another way to meet friends. I've definitely met new people through dance and track, and through BSU and pre-med. So definitely get involved with the community, and that's how you meet new people.
Harmony has actually been, as she was saying, she's been silver cohort, so she's been home like all year, and she happened to be on campus like last week after school one day. And when I tell you, the friends that she hadn't seen in person all semester came running up because they were so excited to see Miss Harmony. That really is what you tend to see in terms of the friendships and the relationships. And COVID has made things a little difficult. Our kids want to see each other, and not everyone's in the building at the same time. So even that is a testament to the community that we've established and that we've built. The fact that our students miss each other because they don't get to see each other every day like they used to. Sean, I see you were going to chime in. Was that correct? Talk to us, my dear.
Yeah, so just kind of piggybacking off what Harmony says and what I said earlier, I really only knew probably 7 to 8 people coming into Brebeuf. So I think, with everyone starting new, it is relatively easy to make friends. And, with a relatively small size of 200, you still get the opportunity to meet like-minded people with similar interests, but also friends that are different from you, and they're going to challenge you to kind of be the best version of yourself. So I think one of the best ways to make friends is not only in your classes, but also joining a sport, joining clubs, and joining kind of student organizations that give you the opportunity to meet people who you might already have something in common with. And I think, it's a process. No one's mastered it, but I think one of the great things is that everyone's pretty nice to each other starting off. Because I think, it's a process that everyone has to go through, but it's not something to worry about, I would say.
And Sean makes such a good point when he says that, this is a perfect opportunity for you to meet people that are different from you, that are going to challenge you also, right? I think so many times we get used to this cookie cutter image of what we want our friends to look like or who we want our friends to be based on the friends that we've always had. When you transition to high school, Brebeuf, you're going to meet all kinds of folks from all kinds of backgrounds. And so that's a prime opportunity for you to do just that, to make some friends that maybe aren't the traditional friends that you would consider in your friend group, to learn about each other, and folks that are going to challenge you to grow, so that whenever you pop off to college, you are you're well-rounded. You've interacted with folks from across the board, and you can navigate some really difficult conversations and interactions whenever you transition out. Let's see here. Any other chime-ins for the social life aspect of things for our prospective freshmen?
Yeah, I think it's just important to remember that everyone, all of the freshmen with you are going to be in the exact same spot as you. So everyone is wanting friends. So it's not like you're some new kid and everyone already has their friend groups. Like it's all new, everyone's new. So that's really encouraging, I think.
Absolutely. Everyone's struggling a little bit, right? Just kind of trying to figure out, what does this transition actually need? What am I doing here? So before, oh no, we're good. Okay, so in retrospect, right? Hindsight is 2020. So for my seniors preparing to go off to college, looking back, if you could have a conversation with yourself as a freshman, what would that conversation look like? And or if you could redo something, if you could go back and change a decision that you made or something from your freshman year, what would it be?
I'll say for me as a freshman, I always thought that I was the only one confused in class, or I was the only one who had questions outside of class. So I was so scared to go in and ask my teacher for help or to email them a quick question. But over these 4 years, I realized that the point of class is to ask questions. They want to confuse you. They want to get your minds thinking. And I've just sat in offices doing homework, talking to teachers, asking for help, or maybe just sitting there and doing the homework. The teachers are really inclusive and want you to talk to them about what you're doing. So I think if I would give advice to myself as a freshman, is just to ask questions and to have a connection with your teachers.
Adding on to that, I would say take advantage of your opportunities. I think that too often people will sit back and not talk to their academic counselor or their college counselor when you get to that point, or their teachers if they need help, like Maddie said. But Brebeuf gives you all the opportunities you could ever want, and it's just whether or not you take advantage of those opportunities.
Really great points on both of you all's behalf. And you both kind of alluded to, and Maddie, you specifically mentioned, go and have these conversations with your teachers, right? In addition to that, it's a building relationships with your teachers and your counselors, because Chris, as you were saying, once you get to junior, senior year, these are the folks that are going to help you make some really important decisions about scheduling and college. And so if you actually seek out that help and you build those relationships as early as your freshman year, whenever you get to junior and senior year, and it's time for you to start having some really important conversations and making some really important decisions, you've got folks who know you, that already have a relationship with you, who can give even more informed insight and advice for what that future looks like for you. So absolutely build those relationships. We're a small enough student body that you have one-on-one time and interactions with faculty and our staff, right? So let's see, any others that want to chime in for retrospect? Sean, I see you, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just say a big thing that I would tell myself is relax and take everything easy. You're going to be okay. This is a challenging process that we've all been through, that all of you are going to go through. But at the end of the day, you're going to turn out okay. And I think that's kind of important. to recognize. And things aren't going to be, you know, 100% perfect. But at the same time, as we've talked about, just know that there's a lot of people, everyone's going through the same thing that you are. Be willing to change, be willing to get outside of your shell and learn about new people and meet different people. Yeah, but I would say, you know, you have a community of people that are ready and willing to help you. So kind of recognize that, and you're going to be okay.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so like, was there anything that you would go back and change about your freshman year, or anything that if you could have a redo, what would you redo?
I would change my study habits because coming in my freshman year, I didn't really know how to study, and it took me until my sophomore year to actually know like what worked for me and how to get the grades that I wanted to get. So I'm not sure, like, you know, if you guys like have a specific way that you want to study now, but that's something that I would definitely think about or take into consideration, because you're gonna need it, and it'll be so beneficial, and your GPA will thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I would go back and change my study habits. So just pay attention to those, because they'll only benefit you in the long run.
Study habits are important, and forming those early is very important. And maybe even making it a point to use our PRTs super intentionally as early as our freshman year, so that we get all this work done in school that we don't necessarily have to work on outside of school, right? I see my seniors nodding heads like, yes, the PRTs. Yes, the PRTs. Use those PRTs wisely, friends. Anyone else, what would you change? And if not, that's a good thing. That lets us know that we've got some really cool experiences that in retrospect, you look back and you're like, no, even if it wasn't the greatest decision, I'm hoping we're learning from these things, and like we wouldn't go back and change them because of the lessons that we've learned. Okay, let's see here. I believe, are those our okay, nice. I was like, I know we've got more. What about favorite memory? You're getting ready to graduate, and I know senioritis is there, and I know that your minds are really like, I'm really just ready to like go. But thinking back at your time here at Brebeuf, what's your favorite memory? Or, you know, what will you miss the most?
I'll miss the Temple Lounge and the Diversity Office. Those are my two hangout spots. Since my freshman year, that's where like all of me and my friends like were able to hang out, like on our PRTs and on our breaks, and you know sometimes before or after school. So yeah, definitely take advantage of the Temple Lounge and the Diversity Office. I promise you'll love it. It's such a safe space, and you'll have so much fun. You'll create so many memories.
I'll say my favorite memory and what I will miss most are kind of the same, but pep rallies were always so much fun for football and basketball, and we've been missing those for almost a year now. But there's just so much like camaraderie, but also like team spirit, and the grades would kind of fight against each other and who could be the loudest. And they're just fun activities to do all the time. And I miss seeing everyone in one gym all together. So I think those two things will definitely be something I'll miss for years. Yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead. You got it.
No, go, wait. Okay. I actually just got back from leading our like senior/junior retreat, which is Kairos. So that was, I think I just had my favorite memory like a week ago at Brebeuf. That was awesome. So I will definitely miss those retreats and because retreats are just, I think they're kind of unique to Brebeuf in the sense that it forces you to get out of your comfort zone and to be vulnerable and real with yourself, and also get to know your peers really well, which just helps you create such strong relationships with people in your grade, and also helps you get to know yourself even more.
I would say there's a lot of small things that I'm going to miss when I graduate. Like I play dodgeball in the gym during our PRTs when I don't have any homework. I'm really bad, but it's a lot of fun. And I think generally you'll find a lot of times where you're in similar experiences with things and you find a way in those communities to kind of make the best out of a suboptimal situation. And you'll get to know a lot of people and you'll get to witness a lot of cool deeds that are going on. And ultimately, I think by the time you graduate, you're going to be, glad you came here, and everything happens for a reason. And I think ultimately that will create who you are as a person. And I think you'll miss the experiences that you have in high school.
So I had heard about these infamous PRT dodgeball games, and I didn't actually witness one until like 2 weeks ago. And when I tell you, these PRT dodgeball games are epic. If I wasn't a whole grown faculty/staff member, I would have been right there with him. Like, that's how much fun they look. So incoming freshmen, this is your heads up. Take note. Dodgeball PRTs are a total thing, and you have to experience them at least once, okay? So there's some really cool things that you all are gonna remember. And so freshmen, I hope that you're taking notes on, some of them were small things, some of them were big events, but realizing that there are big things and small things, all of which kind of culminate into this high school experience. And my seniors may not think it now, but at some point, whenever they get to college, they're going to look back and they're going to really miss this place. Like, man, high school, like, I miss it, but I don't, but I kind of do, And so we're hoping that you all, whenever you transition in, dive into really making that experience the best that it can possibly be. If you all don't mind, so there was actually one specific question that was posed by by one of our prospective freshmen or parents that I thought was a really awesome question. So Edward asked, how would you compare what you thought your experience was going to be to what it actually became? In other words, what would you say was the biggest surprise for you during your time at Brebeuf? And that's just that's an awesome question. So thank you, Edward. And seniors, like, kind of thinking about that. How did what you expected Brebeuf to be measure up to what Brebeuf actually was for you?
I'll say I have 2 older brothers, so I always felt like they were so cool and but to other people at high school, like, they were scary. But once I got to Brebeuf, it doesn't matter your grade, anything of what you like, your athletics, if you are a great person and you got some personality, you will make friends so easily. And I was scared to be friends with a senior or a junior or sophomore, but they don't care. Like, you can be friends with absolutely anyone. You just have to put yourself out there, really.
Any others? Like, was there a mismatch in expectation and reality? Was it everything that you thought it was going to be and more? This was almost like, we should pose this as a senior reflection at some point, because I think this is one that we want to think about. Go you, Edward. You win the night, okay? You win the night. Harmony, were you going to chime in?
Yeah, I guess I would say I wasn't expecting to make as many connections as I did at Brebeuf, which is obviously, a pro. Because I'm really happy that, I gained so many more friendships than I was expecting. Like, I was really just thinking that, I'll meet like 2 or 3 friends and we'll be friends, throughout the entire 4 years, and, that'll be it and I'll be content with that. But no, actually, I have friends that are like juniors in college that went to Brebeuf and they were like seniors there. So, and I wasn't really expecting, the seniors to really care about freshmen. I promise you, high school is not like High School Musical at all. It's really not. The senior, like Maddie said, the seniors are actually really nice. They're some of the sweetest people that you could ever meet. And I wasn't really expecting that. Like, I really thought they were going to be mean to me, but they weren't. They were so welcoming and so nice. And I'm just like really surprised that I still have like relationships with them now, even as they're like, you know, getting ready to graduate college and I'm getting ready to enter. Like I can still call some of them up and, you know, they're like, hey, Harm, like, how are you? Like I was talking to Mika Wiggins the other day, and she's like, I haven't talked to you in so long. Like, I just want to check on you. And it's just like, you know, like they care. They actually care about you, even beyond, you know, Brebeuf. They really care. So I guess that's something that I wasn't expecting that I got.
I've noticed like this odd, I think it's odd from the outside because of that perception of like, oh man, seniors are big men on campus, and then you've got the little freshmen coming in. I've noticed this odd kind of sense of like protection, like overprotection. It's as if our seniors see the freshmen and they're like, oh my gosh, like we really need to make sure they're good and we need to take care of them. Like, are they okay? Like in that tone. And I've had students, like seniors, ask me when they see certain freshmen response, they're like, wait, is she okay? Like, do we need to go check on her? The level of care is very, very apparent. So thank you for that. Thank you for that, Harmony. Anyone else kind of want to round us out here before we allow everyone to transition into dinner or whatever takes place in our evening festivities after our showcase this evening?
I can kind of go off that last question. I think, you know, you all watch the movies, and my dad made me watch Dazed and Confused. He says it was a staple of his childhood. But I think, you know, you get that image of, you know, there's all these cliques and everyone's in a group, and, you know, no one likes each other and everyone's mean. It couldn't be further from the truth, especially at Brebeuf. I think the people are ultimately what makes Brebeuf great. And I think, you know, being in your class, you'll get to meet a lot of people with different experiences that are really, really cool. You know, we have athletes, we have activists. My friend testified in front of the Indiana State Assembly. My psychology teacher played against LeBron James in high school, and he is a part-time farmer. Getting to know people, I think, is one of the coolest things about Brebeuf. And I would say, yeah, one of the coolest things, and I think it's something that really can't be overstated, is that this community is great. It's willing to help you, and it's willing to help you grow and make you better as a person.
And what better way to close us out this evening? Thank you so much, Sean. And thank you to the rest of our panelists for engaging us in some really awesome questions and answers. I hope that you all as prospective freshmen got a bit more insight and are a bit more excited. I don't know about you, but like, I'm not even in high school anymore, and I'm excited. So I genuinely hope that you got some information today that's going to get you even more excited. Can't even get my words out. That's how excited I am. Oh my goodness. Please join us in the fall. We would love to have you as part of the Brebeuf family. And now I'm going to zip and toss it back over to our Director of Admissions, Colleen. Thanks for having me this evening.
Thank you so much, Kayla. Thank you, seniors. We have loved watching you grow. We are so excited about the class of 2025 joining us, and we are so sad about you leaving us. Every year we're heartbroken and excited for you at the same time. Class of 2025, a few updates. Number one, keep the questions coming. You can still continue to submit questions for the seniors, and we will connect you with seniors or anyone in the Brebeuf community to answer your questions. Number two, I will send more updates, but the next event to put on your radar is a virtual curriculum night, which is February 22nd. More information will come about that. And also, if you have not enrolled yet to join the class of 2025, you have until March 1st. When you do that, we'll add your name to the Brebeuf B wall. We'll send you a welcome packet with your class shirt. And please do not hesitate to contact me as questions arise. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it, and we cannot wait for the class of 2025 to join us next year. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.